protection. Okay? You wanted to speak to them.
John, where are you? Good.
Oh, here. Take one pencil down.
I peruse this, by the way.
Hi, Mr. Larson.
Rich told me
How
to
you
read
doing?
it. I don't. I'm not a reader.
Good, good, thank you.
All I needed to know was he told me it was
Just need a little bit of room. A little bit more room. That's all
What's
right.
new? What's new?
I'm gonna go through it right now. Yeah. No, I got it.
It's rolling. It's rolling.
No, I didn't hear it. No, it's yeah, you're right. Where is this? Yeah, 70.
Oh, we're gonna have people work.
You're expressing it very well. Go clean, stand next to it. I'm at it.
Everyone's.
Yeah, I have to sign because he's got a conflict.
I'm surprised.
You guys can't run away from me after the meeting.
I'm running.
You want to sign it now?
I've reviewed it.
Okay.
Well,
I'll give it to you.
Every little component.
Find it. You want it?
Up to you. I'll sign whatever you, what do you want me to sign? All those?
No, 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 red and yellow is, I gotta look in front. This is all the legislation, I'm just looking for the, no, you don't, you only sign
I'm a
certain.
nobody. I shouldn't be signing anything.
No, you're not a nobody. You're somebody today. That's my job. I'm the nobody.
Yeah.
Okay. The purchase, real estate purchase agreement. I will need you
Oh,
to
okay.
sign.
No. Oh, right there.
It says assistant director of law, so that must have been anticipating
Most of it
that.
is.
Pardon me?
Yeah. Depends who you talk to.
Yeah, because he's got a roll.
Like 70 feet or so.
Okay, you're gonna sign tonight?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
they're not
if
signing
Independence is
tonight?
a good neighbor, they should be civilized about it.
All right, good.
Like situations they have like.
Okay.
I was just gonna have him,
They're a lot more
because he's got a roll.
Did you hear,
Is
Tony,
there
which
better
ones
option?
you have to read?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't know that. That makes a big difference.
Yes, very good.
I was missing Randy.
Are we
Randy's
going?
always.
Recorder, the whole thing.
All right. Is,
I mean, you.
Pat Elliott not here today? Elliott's absent today?
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thanks, Pat.
It's in a hurry.
Roll call.
Mayor Delaquila,
Here.
Assistant Director of Law DeChiro, Director of Finance Herwick,
Here.
Councilman at Large Elliott, Councilwoman at Large Kelly,
Here.
Councilwoman at Large Stager,
Here.
Ward 1 Councilman Biassiata,
Here.
Ward 2 Councilman Robo,
Here.
Ward 3 Councilman Snitsky,
Here.
Ward 4 Councilman Greenwald,
Here.
Director of Public Service and Properties Levis,
Here.
Building Commissioner Vitardi,
Here.
Engineer Collins.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Elliott tonight.
Second.
Roll call.
Biassiata,
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Snitsky,
Yes.
Stager,
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
We'll now have the reading and disposal of the journal.
Mr.
Minutes.
Mr. President,
Councilman Roble.
having read the minutes of the regular council meeting held May 14th, 2018, I find no omissions or errors, and I move that we accept the minutes as printed.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata,
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Snitsky,
Yes.
Stager,
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Moving on to consent agenda.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
there is no division of the question. I move that we accept the consent agenda for May 29th, 2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata,
Yes.
Greenwald,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Snitsky,
Yes.
Stager,
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Any resolutions of commendation tonight?
We have none.
Reports of committee, planning, zoning, economic development.
Yes, Mr. President, all previous zoning, planning, zoning, and economic development meetings minutes are with the clerk. Next meeting is June 18th.
Public Works.
The last meeting of the Public Works Committee was on May 7th. The minutes of that meeting are pending. The next committee meeting will be June 4th.
Community Services.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our last meeting was held May 7th. The minutes of that meeting are on file with the council clerk, and our next meeting is scheduled for June 4th.
Police and Safety, filling in for Councilman Elliott. The last meeting was on 5/21. The meeting minutes are pending from that meeting. The next meeting of Police and Safety will be 6/18. Parks and Recreation.
Yes, Mr. President. Our last meeting was on May 21st. The minutes are on file with the clerk. Our next meeting will be on June 18th.
Rules, Ordinances, and Ethics.
The last meeting was on May 7th. Those minutes are pending, and the next meeting is June 4th.
Thank you. Finance, Civil Service, and Personnel. Our last meeting was on May 21st. Those minutes are pending. Our next meeting will be June 4th. Any appointments or confirmations tonight?
No.
Communications, petitions, and claims.
I just have one item I'd like to acknowledge for the record. The city received a letter from South Hills Lend-A-Hand addressed to the mayor and council, and it was regarding a citywide food drive that was held in conjunction with the fire department at Aldi's. Everyone has been given a copy of the letter, and we will append it to the minutes for the record.
Thank you. Council is now open to the audience on legislation only. Front row.
Ron Jarvis, Professor Drive, Seven Hills. I have a comment on what you're saying isn't legislation, but we know that it's coming because it's on the paperwork, and that's the floor motion that's about to come. I want to make a comment on legislation that isn't really legislation, but could become legislation someday. In the legislature. This is.
Fair enough.
Jeez. You guys have a cheese ordinance in the resolution, like the charter says, but somewhere out there, attorneys say it's okay. The least transparent way to do business, or motion. You got a development plan in front of you, and I suppose you're gonna approve it with this floor motion. Planning Commission, this iteration of the development plan, its final iteration. This started out in 2016 and got an approval of the old council, despite the fact the property was landlocked. And we've heard principals from the developer admit that recently. So when they submitted that plan to the city and they submitted it to the Army Corps, they were in error, to put it nicely. There was no ingress and egress for the property. But it got approved by the Planning Commission and it got approved by the old council. Great deal. We've seen dedication plat that got moved along by a floor motion, but now it's going to have to get real. So now we're going to have a resolution so that the proper document can be filed with county. So you moved it along with a non-legislation act, but now you're going to make it legislation. The Planning Commission meeting saw a new drawing for this project I hadn't seen before, and that included a red area marked out on Rockside Road. For what's a turning lane, the red area is the existing median area in Independence. Now, there was no comment. In fact, Planning Commission Chairman asked Engineer Collins if he was happy with the documents in front of him, and Engineer Collins said he was. The median is something that Independence is going to have to allow to be destroyed to make a turning lane. And it's part of the final development plan, shown, marked out in red. I don't know if it was included, if that turning lane was included in the traffic study. It should have been. It was going to be used. But I don't know how, through all these gyrations, we didn't see the red area to the Planning Commission meeting. And it's part of the final development plan. And I understand it hasn't been cleared with the City of Independence. And I don't know how you clear the final development plan. It's going to stop if they don't get this. They won't have access to their Lombardo extension from the west. So I guess they could go ahead and just enter from the east. Take a U, take some side streets, come back up Lombardo, take a left, then take a right in. But the fact is, it's part of the plan. It was one of the drawings presented to planning. Now, there's been a number of things here that make me believe that planning might not be looking at drawings and such as hard as they probably should. The dedication plat you did for a right-of-way being one example, because you might remember that they okayed a 50-foot, 10-foot reduction in the right-of-way on that dedication plat. And that got by planning and engineering.
It got a variance for that, okay? Before you go any further. They got their variance.
The original drawing was for a 50-foot illegal according to the PUD right of way. It got corrected, it went to zoning first so they could get a variance, but it didn't meet the requirements of the PUD. So it should have got bounced at the planning level, or bounced at planning or by the engineer, which it didn't. But at the last minute, it got caught. So now we're seeing something else that's in front of you. I don't know if you guys looked at the drawing, if you've seen the red indication for the median or what. But if it's being presented as part of the final development plan, and you're not certain you're gonna get the use of that median, then the final development plan is deficient. Even though the engineer again didn't point it out. It should have been pointed out. Now, I saw it because it was sitting on an easel here, and big as all hell. I don't know what size you people are seeing. But it's red. Just look for the red. And I think somebody somewhere needs to tune up planning and engineering. Because planning's sitting back saying, is it okay with you engineering? They're not really reading stuff. Is the only explanation I have. Or the colorblind, because you can't miss the red. So if engineering is going to be the final word for planning, then engineering has to get its act together. Or you guys are gonna wind up with stuff that's technically raising a flag, but I don't really expect you to know it. This isn't engineering, this is a very detailed practice engineering is. So it's probably a really good time to tell somebody to really pay attention to what they're doing. I ask planning, please be careful. The meeting, they okayed it anyhow. And as far as engineering is concerned, from what I'm seeing, we need another engineer. Because the one we have just isn't doing its job.
Okay, let's be respectful.
Pardon me?
So please be respectful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'll address this number of questions there, but I'd like to go through all the audience first. Second row, back row. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jaros. You know, you're always welcome and have an open line to me. Earlier in the year, I've done all the due diligence that I'm going to do on the existence of floor motions. All three of the city's attorneys are outside attorney. And in addition to Mr. Pignatello had an opinion written by one of the attorneys. I think it was Walter Haverfield, but I forget which one it was, but we paid the bill for it. And all five attorneys. So there's a difference between what we do legislatively and administrative. And it's an administrative function of council to accept/concur findings from zoning and the planning commission. And transparency has been what I've been all about. So what I was able to do within those lines is put the fact that we're having a floor motion on the agenda. I know that's not as great as you want, but it's an improvement over what we've done in the past. And I'll continue to have two open ears on the matter. But for tonight, all the legal guidance I have on the issue is that the floor motion is appropriate at this time. Now, you correctly bring up that what went before the Planning Commission indicates a left-hand turn. You're also correct that at this time, all the parties involved have not come to an agreement on what it's going to take to get a left hand there. But the parties are operating in good faith, and it's kind of no different than where we started out this TIF, where one party wants a lot, and you work towards something that's agreeable to both. So, but before I any further on that, I'm going to ask the question of Mr. Collins if terms weren't to be worked out with the City of Independence and you only had an eastbound access, would that be compliant to the PUD? Do we have an issue here tonight?
No, there's not an issue tonight here at all. No. I mean, I don't know about you folks, but I put trust in that two governments can work side by side. Okay, City of Independence, City of Seven Hills. Okay, is there something more that people in here don't know? I mean, that I don't know at least? Is Independence, stopping this right now? Because I'm not aware of any of that right now. My experience is working in many municipalities that municipalities get along with one another. And I don't think Independence is at enemies with Seven Hills, unless there's somebody in this room can tell me different. And if you think that's going to be a showstopper for this project, I don't think that's going to be the case here. I mean, obviously, they're not going to get a permit until Independence would sign off on this left turn lane, okay, in modifying the bricked island. What else is there to negotiate with that? Someone actually thinks Independence is going to have a problem with that?
Mr. Mayor, is there something you'd like to add on this issue of memorandum of understanding?
No, I would just indicate that at the correct time, if and when we're approached by the City of Independence, I stand ready to discuss a proper memorandum of understanding.
Mr. DeChiro, anything you'd like to add?
No. Other than it was me who did the motion, the ruling on the floor.
Yeah, and we've had additional rulings as well on that, just to be sure and safe. Any questions from council at this time on this matter regarding left-hand turn? Okay, are we okay. Moving on to ordinance 40-2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Roble.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance 40-2018 by title only for its third and final reading.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Ordinance number 40, 2018, introduced by councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an annual professional service contract with Debbie Makowski, Opportunity Incorporated, in an amount not to exceed $5,000 for the purpose of conducting Fit Happens fitness classes at the City of Seven Hills Recreation Complex for the period covering January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018.
We have a further motion.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move that we pass ordinance number 40-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Ordinance 40-2018 is passed. Ordinance 42-2018. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 42-2018 for its third and final reading.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Ordinance 42, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Title V Administrative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the codified ordinances of the City of Seven Hills for the purpose of repealing Chapter 132, City Coordinator.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we pass ordinance number 42-2018.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
42-2018 has been passed. Ordinance 43, 2018. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Greenwald.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and table ordinance number 43-2018 until our next regular meeting, which is June 11th, 2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
So further motion? No, it's been tabled. Moving on to amended ordinance 44-2018. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read amended ordinance number 44-2018 for its third and final, by title only for its third and final reading.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Amended ordinance number 44, 2018, revised May 25th, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance enacting new chapter 132 entitled City Administrative Specialist as contained in Title V Administrative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we pass amended ordinance number 44-2018.
Second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Amended ordinance 44-2018 is passed. Moving on to ordinance 45-2018. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we further amended ordinance number 45-2018 at chapter 144-02, section B, to delete finance director and to change the wording senior and community service department to Senior and Community Service Director.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we pass further amended ordinance number 40, no. What? Oh. I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read amended ordinance number 45-2018 for its third and final reading.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Amended ordinance number 45, 2018, further revised this evening, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Chapter 144, reports from department directors and attendance at council committee meetings as contained in Title V Administrative of Part 1 Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we pass further amended ordinance number 45-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
45, 2018 is passed. We'll now have the second reading of 51, 2018.
Ordinance number 51, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Richard L. Bowen and Associates Incorporated of Cleveland, Ohio, in an amount not to exceed $14,100 to provide professional services for the 2018 street ratings program.
We'll now have the second reading of 52, 2018.
Ordinance 52, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Strategic Partners LLC of Rocky River, Ohio, to provide professional consulting services to review the operational and HR policies for the Seven Hills Fire Department and any other matter as directed by the mayor, and appropriating an amount not to exceed $3,000 for said service.
Now have the second reading of 53, 2018.
Ordinance number 53, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Pyrotechnico Fireworks Incorporated for the purpose of selling, furnishing, delivering, and presenting a fireworks display for the City of Seven Hills 2018 Home Days event to be held on July 27 and July 28, 2018, and appropriating a sum not to exceed $8,500 for said service.
We'll now have the second reading ordinance 56, 2018. Did I skip 54? Yeah. We'll have the second reading ordinance 54, 2018.
Ordinance number 54, 2018, and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Aladdin Rents of East Lake, Ohio, for the purpose of providing tents, risers, and appurtenances to be used at the city of Seven Hills 2018 Home Days, and appropriating the sum not to exceed $4,968 for said service.
Now have the second reading of 56, 2018.
Ordinance number 56, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with SE Blueprint Incorporated of Cleveland, Ohio, for the purchase of one HP Design Jet T2530 PS plotter for use in the city of Seven Hills Engineering Department, and appropriating the sum not to exceed $8,798, including delivery and installation.
We'll now have the second reading of ordinance 57, 2018.
Ordinance number 57, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Physio Control Incorporated for the purpose of purchasing 2 LifePak CR Plus AED kits with shipping and appurtenances for use in the city's Seven Hills Recreation Complex, and appropriating the sum not to exceed $3,655 for said purchase.
We'll now have the second reading ordinance 59, 2018.
And we're at 58.
Or 58, 2018.
Ordinance 58, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Sports Equipment Specialists of Cleveland, Ohio, for the purpose of purchasing 2 Fair Play LED basketball scoreboards, 1 control panel, and installation of the equipment with appurtenances for use in the City of Seven Hills Recreation Complex, and appropriating the sum not to exceed $6,024 for said purchase.
We'll now have the second reading of 59-2018.
Ordinance number 59, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a collective bargaining agreement on behalf of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association for lieutenants for the purpose of memorializing wage negotiations.
Now have the second reading of 60-2018.
Ordinance number 60, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Section 135.06, compensation for lieutenant of police, as contained in Chapter 135, Department of Police, of Title V, Administrative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio.
Now have the second reading of 61-2018.
Ordinance number 61, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Chapter 135, Department of Police, of Title V, Administrative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of repealing Section 135.07, compensation for lieutenant of police injured in the line of duty.
We'll now have the second reading of amended ordinance 62-2018.
Amended ordinance number 62, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend Section 123.02, Public Records Request, as contained in Chapter 123, Ordinances and Resolutions of Title III, Legislative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of providing a clear process for the delivery of public records upon request.
We'll now have the second reading of ordinance 63-2018.
Ordinance 63, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance to amend subsections 148.10B and C, building monitor, lead building monitor, as contained in Chapter 148, Recreation Complex of Title V, Administrative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of amending duties.
We'll now move on to ordinance 64-2018. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Kelly.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and table ordinance number 64-2018 for an indefinite period of time.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Ordinance 64-2018 has been tabled. We'll now have the second reading of ordinance 65-2018.
Ordinance 65, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance enacting new Chapter 155 entitled Protecting Privacy, as contained in Title V, Administrative of Part 1, Administrative Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio.
Moving on to ordinance 66-2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Roble.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 66, 2018 by title only for its first but final reading, declaring an emergency.
I second.
I just had the emergency. This is for repair to our second ambulance, so we needed to move quickly on this, hence the emergency. Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Elliott. I'm sorry. Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Ordinance 66, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Fallsway Emergency Equipment of Akron, Ohio, for miscellaneous emergency repairs to Fire Department Rescue Vehicle Medic 2, the 2008 Chevrolet C4500 Horton ambulance, in an amount not to exceed $7,827.26, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilman Roble.
I move that we pass ordinance number 66-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
66, 2018 is passed. Moving on to ordinance 67-2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Snitsky.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance 66-2018 by title only for its first and final reading. I'm sorry, 67-2018.
I second.
By title only for its first and final reading.
I second.
I'd like to add for the record, this is safety equipment for our firemen to remove the carbon dioxide out of their building, safer work environment. Hence, we're acting on an emergency basis. Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Ordinance 67, 2018, introduced by Council President Biassiata. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Hastings Air Energy Control Incorporated of New Berlin, Wisconsin, for the fire department vehicle exhaust removal system project with appurtenances, appropriating an amount not to exceed $49,820.14 for said purchase and declaring an emergency.
We have a further motion.
Mr. President,
Councilman Snitsky.
I move that we pass ordinance 67-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Roble.
Yes.
Well, now the first reading of ordinance 68, 2018.
Ordinance 68, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Roble, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Courtview Justice Solutions of North Canton, Ohio, for the purpose of performing annual maintenance and support of the mayor's court legacy case management system software and the right to use license, and appropriating the sum not to exceed $2,412 for said service.
Moving on to ordinance 69, 2018.
I think that's me.
I have Councilwoman Stager.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Stager.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 69-2018 for its first and final reading and declaring an emergency.
I second.
Having an emergency on here. We're into the building season. This contract was first negotiated, then renegotiating dating back to last September. This allows the things to move along. So it's essentially it's a timing issue. Roll call?
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Ordinance number 69, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance approving a real estate purchase and sale agreement with Glenn's Landing LLC and declaring an emergency.
For further motion,
Mr. President,
Councilman Stager.
I move that we pass ordinance 69-2018.
I second.
Any comments from council?
I have a few comments. When we came on to council, it was my understanding that this was a done deal, that we're just waiting for inspection and closing. It turned out that for a variety of reasons, things became a lot more complicated than that. I just want to thank the mayor, president of the council, Mr. Larson and Squire Patton Boggs, as well as Glenn's Landing and Omni for all their hard work in getting this deal together and making sure this project didn't get sidelined.
Any further comments? Well, I'd like to add that very good, Councilman Greenwald, thank you. That I'll add, we couldn't have done this without all the parties working in good faith. So thank you to everyone involved. The new contract calls for 1.1 million in hard cash. No more contingencies or other loopholes. The TIF is no longer part of the purchase agreement. The land sells clean. And another important improvement is the closing date is hard now. It's June 20th. One party or other cannot unilaterally move it forward without the consent of the other party. So June 20th is the date. And there's also significant protections in here for the city in terms of being able to take the property back, et cetera, et cetera. So if there's no further comment from council, roll call, please.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Ordinance 69, 2018 is passed. Moving on to ordinance 70, 2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Snitsky.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read ordinance number 70-2018 by title only for its first and final reading.
I second.
I'd like to add the reason for the emergency is the same as ordinance 69, 2018. It's timing. We're in construction season. The terms have been agreed to in principle by all parties. No need to delay this 6 more weeks. A roll call, please.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Ordinance number 70, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. An ordinance approving a tax increment financing agreement with Glenn's Landing LLC and declaring an emergency.
Or further motion.
Mr. President,
Councilman Snitsky.
I move that we pass ordinance number 70-2018.
I second.
Any comments from council?
I'd like to make some if you don't mind.
Councilman Snitsky.
When I first came on council in 2011, and I think maybe the mayor and me and some of the administrators are the only people left around that have been dealing with this development project for years. It's one of those type of things that it didn't seem like it was ever going to get done. And I'm very glad that we're going to see some positive development over on that land after all these years. So I just want to thank everybody that's worked hard on this all the way around. And I know that it's going to be a nice facility because I've heard it a half a dozen times. But I want to thank everybody for their involvement, especially the mayor and the council president that put the fine point on this thing at the end. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further comments from council?
Just want to say that I'm thrilled this is happening and thank everyone for their patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further comments?
Yes, I would like to add a thank you to our council president and the mayor, along with Mr. Simich and folks for working with us. I'm glad we could all work together and move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Further comments? I have a few. Negotiations started in early February on the new TIF amount. I'm not going to go through every step by step, but at one time, the negotiation on the TIF amount reached a combination of TIF and a CRA proposal that approached $8 million. And at the time, I countered with, how about no TIF? And a number of other things went back and forth for a while. We reached a stalemate, and the mayor and I said we weren't making progress, and we had asked developers to submit in writing what their final request was going to be, and that came in at $4.3 million, and it was a combination of building expenses plus interest. We did our due diligence. We hired a real estate consultant. He presented before council last week. He proposed that we counted at $2.8 million, and that's what this TIF contract is in front of us today. He said it was warranted for various reasons. Now, what does that mean for the city? As mentioned in caucus, there's many different kinds of TIFs, but on the advice of our attorneys, we came to agreement on a TIF that does not require any money up front from the city. For comparison's sakes, the new driving range in Independence, they required the city to provide $1 million in cash up front to get the project rolling. We did not have to put any money up front. Other TIFs also include the stipulation that the borrowing on the project is done using the city's borrowing power. That's not happening here. So our borrowing limit, cap, however you want to say it, remains intact. The city's portion of this is basically our portion of the property tax, $416,920. That's incremental income on future revenues we would not have if the project didn't come forward. So at $416,920, what do we get in return? Well, we can complete the land sale. We're going to get an additional approximately $1.8 million in additional taxes over a 15-year period. That's a combination of income and property taxes. And the excess revenue generated by this TIF agreement that is not consumed by the developer is returned entirely intact to the city of Seven Hills. And that redirected TIF amounts to $4.3 million, and that pays off in the first 10 years. That's not even over 15 years. So the total economic benefit to the city for deferring $416,920 is $6.8 million. The schools benefit as well. Due to the valuation of this building, these buildings, and including the out parcels, Department of City Schools will get $4.8 million in additional taxes over the next 15 years, including a pretty nice chunk up front. Income taxes, they would, on the construction, they would not have otherwise, but stipulated as part of the TIF agreement is they're going to get half of the income tax. So they're going to get $175,000 as soon as early on in the project during the development phase. Additional tax authorities, such as the library and Metro Parks, over the 15-year period, are going to derive $1.7 million in property taxes, new property taxes, when the project comes, comes to fruition. So that's a total public benefit of $13,400,000 on the $2.8 million TIF. And very, very specific to Seven Hills is the $416,920. I'm going to submit our cost-benefit analysis into the meeting minutes. This is the basis of the economic decision being made here I'll hand it to the clerk ceremoniously here, but she has it in electronic format as well. The TIF agreement, and our councils here tonight, was approved by Squire Patton Boggs earlier today. It was also approved by the other parties, Glen Landing and Omni. There's a number of protections built into here for the city. I think it's an outstanding work. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Section 6. So when we heard the consultant speak to up to 2.8 million, it wasn't saying his proposal was 2.8 million, but the actual dollars reimbursed could be less. The developer has completed the public improvements to the satisfaction of the city. The city agrees to reimburse the developer for eligible and verified costs of the public improvements submitted to the city. So there's additional safeguards here. If expenses coming lower, they'll be reimbursed lower. At the end of the day, we're going to reimburse on actual receipts, and we're going to have the ability to verify that the costs indeed are legally TIF, to be submitted. That's one of the highlights there that we fought for and achieved. Thank you, Mr. Larson and your team for that. I'll shut up now, and we'll call a roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky. Stager.
Yes.
And Robel.
Yes.
Ordinance 70/2018 passed. Moving on to Resolution 10/2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Greenwald.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read resolution number 10-2018 for its third and final reading
I second.
by title only.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Resolution number 10, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the police departments of Parma, Parma Heights, Brooklyn, Brook Park, and Seven Hills for shared crash investigation services.
Mr. President,
Councilman Greenwald.
I move that we adopt resolution number 10-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Resolution number 10/2018 has been adopted. Moving on to Resolution 13/2018.
Mr. President,
Councilman Robel.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read resolution number 13-2018 for its first and final reading, declaring an emergency.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Resolution number 13, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robel, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution approving a consolidation and dedication plat of Lombardo Center Extension pursuant to Seven Hills Ordinance number 911.022 for permanent parcel numbers 551-12-011 and -022 and declaring an emergency.
For the motion,
Mr. President,
Councilman Robel.
I move that we adopt resolution number 13-2018.
I second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robel.
Yes.
Resolution number 13/2018 has been adopted. Moving on to Resolution number 14/2018.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Kelly.
I move that we suspend the rules under the charter and read resolution number 14-2018 by title only for its first and final reading, declaring an emergency.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Resolution number 14, 2018, introduced by Mayor Delaquila and councilpersons Biassiata, Kelly, Elliott, Stager, Robo, Snitsky, and Greenwald. A resolution approving a lot split and dedication plat of Lombardo Center Extension pursuant to Seven Hills Ordinance number 911.022 for permanent parcel number 551-20-016 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Kelly.
I move that we adopt resolution number 14-2018.
Second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Resolution 14, 2018 has been adopted. Council is now open to the audience. Front row.
I'm Jared, Crescent Ridge Drive, Seven Hills. 2017, I talked to Service Director of the Peace, Mayor, and the engineer about a condition of Stone Lake. There's a city-owned dam. West Creek engineers say it's increasing erosion damage to the Stone Ridge property. The upstream portion of the ravine there, which is an open channel, it's infrastructure that belongs to the city. They have an easement for it. That's collapsing, causing a worsening problem at the bottom. This was back in October sometime, I was told. Well, Director Levis did come out, couldn't find a outfall, a city-owned outfall that's jutting out into the creek and also aggravating the situation. I talked to the city engineer about the outfall not being indicated on the city's stormwater map. But they're there, there's two of them. County Board of Health found the second one to contain fecal coliform. It's definitely a city outfall. Why it's on the map, I don't know. Mr. Collins too busy to get the map fixed, I guess. But the real bonus here is there's a 54-inch culvert at the top of this ravine that carries water from 400 houses to this property, to this ravine. When that was installed, somebody installed a fence because the culvert, the top of the soil above the culvert was about 15 to 18 feet below the solid rock where the culvert drains. You just kept walking without the fence, you walk and drop 15 to 18 feet to your death. They installed a fence there to prevent that from happening. City fence. Erosion at that area has now opened a space underneath the cyclone fence where a small child, maybe even a bigger child, or an animal can now fall to its death. And you guys can have a wrongful death suit unless somebody comes out and does something about moving this fence back. I guess it's going to take to fix it. But nobody's had time to do this. Nobody cares about the property being damaged at Stone Ridge by the outfall that's jutting out into the water. But somebody ought to really think about killing that kid because it's going to happen. This is very, very dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make arrangements with you after the meeting. I'd like to come out. You show me firsthand. You're welcome. Anyone in the administration like to address at this time Mr. Jaros's comments about the city-owned dam erosion or the fence that we installed on the culvert? No comment at this time?
Well, I'm not sure if this, I'm not sure if this is the problem that was addressed in a lawsuit by Stone Ridge. I'm not sure. I know there was a lawsuit filed a homeowners association against the developers and against the city of Seven Hills. I know that we were, I believed summary judgment out or relieved of any obligation, but I'm not sure if that's the same problem that Mr. Jaros is complaining about. I don't want to misstate anything he said. Maybe he could put it in writing more clearly, and if it's not involved in that lawsuit, then I could give you clearance, Mr. President, to look into it.
Are you saying I don't have clearance to go review this
Sure.
myself?
No, you could go review it, but I'm not sure we should spend, I mean, there was litigation concerning this, I think, this issue, from what I've seen, but I have not gathered all my information.
Well, okay. Do we have a timetable for gathering the information? Mr. Jaros has contacted members of council over probably several months now on this
Well,
matter, and
I have reviewed a deposition where I thought the issue was this erosion, and I believe he also sued, and I'm going to have to look at the engineering reports. I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Simich's attorney and some of the attorneys involved in the litigation to find out if this is the same problem that I believe they reached a settlement on. I don't want to misstate
Well,
anything.
I would request, since this, and I know some members of council have actually been there to view this already, and I'm gonna go tomorrow. It appears that there could be, in addition to the erosion and the threat to property, that's one thing, and it's bad, and we owe it to homeowners, of course, to research that. But if there's an issue to safety, we have to act even quicker to find out if it's our responsibility or not.
Okay.
So anything you could do to help move that along, I'd appreciate.
It may cost the city some money for me to dig up files from Ken Barno, who represented the city at Reminger, and probably
Well-
get Mr. Jerome's files.
How would we do it any other way?
No, I just want you to know, if you authorize me to do it, I'll do it. I'm ready to do it. I've started already, but I'm not going to spend money unless I have authorization. I'm not saying it's going to cost a lot of money.
Well, it's a safety issue.
What I'm wondering is, why would you have to look up the file? I mean, if the fence is bad and it's a safety issue, it's going to have to be replaced. So that's what I'm wondering.
Because to my understanding, we were sued, so was the developer, so was Mr. Simich, who is here, and that I believe, maybe I'm wrong, I don't want to misstate anything, that homeowners association was paid a significant amount of money to remedy this problem.
Mhm.
And that if it's a safety issue and they were paid that money, then it's their obligation.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, but I could be wrong. I don't want to misstate anything. I was not involved in that lawsuit.
At the very, do we own the dam? I mean, a private lawsuit, how would that money between two parties, and I'll let you, I'm not a lawyer, how would that money be expected to pay for something that the city owns?
My understanding was that this whole lawsuit was about the erosion occurring down at Stone Ridge.
But if the fence is on city property, I mean, the erosion that's downstream on
Right.
private property would be covered by the lawsuit.
Sure.
And this would still be our responsibility, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure, is the fence on city property?
I understand it's a West Stewart.
What's that?
There's a plat on the, I know this is a legal matter, that's why we were instructed not to
Right.
get involved. But my understanding, the last time I looked at a plat, I believe there may be an easement, a drainage easement of some sort. I don't know where first I heard of a fence. I heard about the erosion. First I heard of a fence and someone, maybe falling in.
Is it a city?
Fence.
Yeah, that's-
But as far as I know, it's probably developer property with a city easement.
All right, I'm not going to authorize a blank check. I'm going to meet with Mr. Jaros tomorrow, and I'm going to do my due diligence, and then have specific questions, which
Very
then maybe we can authorize the answering of specific questions. Is
Okay,
that fair?
fair enough.
Council agree with that approach?
That's good.
Thank you. Anyone else in the first row? Second row. Reports and communications from the Mayor Safety Director.
No report this evening.
Report from the directors and departments, other officials. Directors of Finance.
No report.
Assistant Law Director.
No report.
Director of Public Service and Properties.
No report.
City Engineer.
No report.
Building Commissioner.
Two issues. One, I'd like to apologize to council and anybody that was in the office that tried to get a hold of me by email. I just found out through Constable Kelly and Snitsky that they emailed me and I didn't get it. We've been going through like 7 days of really bad communication as far as our computers go. We think we're on the verge of getting over it, but we'll know tomorrow when Franklin Systems comes online with us. So I apologize that if I didn't answer any emails, but just found out tonight that I was emailed and didn't come up on my computer. And I, just as a second thing, first thing in the morning, even though that fence went up, it should have gone up, even if it was the city that put it up, it should have gone up with no permit fee for it, but it should have had a permit. First thing in the morning, we'll check and see if anybody, what contractor or so forth put that fence in. Hopefully they took a permit out. We can shed some light on it that way. That's it. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Council miscellaneous. Councilwoman Kelly.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilwoman Stager.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Greenwald.
No, thank you.
Councilman Roble.
Yes, one thing. I just want to thank Engineer Collins for showing me the Mylar plats and explaining exactly what was going on so that I had an informed vote on those two resolutions. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Before we move on, I have a couple comments. Tonight, it come up that on the drawing for the final submission for the senior living campus, it indicates a left-hand turn. That left-hand turn originates from the property of Independence. Terms have not been reached with Independence yet. That said, there's in the purchase agreement and a TIF, there are hard dates that I believe give us back-end protection. June 20th on the purchase agreement. If the money doesn't go hard for whatever reason, and one of the reasons could be maybe because agreement has been reached with Independence, we have the right to start over. In addition, the TIF agreement has a clause in here that the project must be completed by, it's a longer date, but 2013. 2023. But there are a number of other protections that if things are not progressing in a timely manner in a way that's beneficial to the city of Seven Hills, we have an opportunity to change directions. I don't, in addition, I'm going to direct a question to Mr. Collins. It's in terms of the permitting, we have an extra protection in terms of the permitting. If drawings can't be submitted for the permit that indicate a left hand, if that permission hasn't been granted. Is that so?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the first thing they're going to be doing is building out the intersection, the Lombardo extension. Part of that, those improvement plan drawings are indeed going to show the requirements for the left turn lane from Rockside Road heading westbound. That is part of that whole set of improvement plans. If that is not on those plans and it is not signed off by Independence, obviously we're not going to sign off on it. They're not going to be able to build that.
So if that's the plan, that's a step in the permit process, an extra protection that we can stop. If at that time, construction's not going to start under that plan, if they haven't gained access by said date. I'd like to, we have members of Glenn's Landing, anything that you'd like to add at this time? Okay. Any additional concerns from the audience on this matter? I'm going to open it back up. Okay, thank you. All right, Councilman Snitsky.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Larson. Can you approach the... Yes. It's an ordinance to authorize the city to move into agreement on the TIF. Do we have the, are we still working on the language or did we miss it? I mean, our end. I know you're working on it, but there was a flurry this weekend over the holiday, and I just wanted to make sure that if you sent it to me and I didn't forward it.
No, it's in our court.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Mr. Jaros, please approach.
City of parcels added to the PUD. Remember that being informal.
They always were.
Mr. Collins, if you may.
Yeah, I think they always were part of the PUD, those two parcels.
I think the acreage that LSP had was called out as being part of it, and then Glenn's Landing had to come in and have council amend the PUD to add those parcels. I think the city parcels ever were part of it.
I think you're incorrect there. We can get that information for you perhaps, but
Okay, I'll look into it. Point taken. Councilman Snitsky.
Yes, I have no other miscellaneous, but I have a floor motion in the manner of Glenn's Landing. Referral to the Planning Commission by Glenn's Landing LLC and Omni Senior Living dated April 25th, 2018 regarding the Seven Hills Elderly Care Campus and final development plan submittal.
I'll second. And before we do roll call, is there any discussion amongst council? Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Council concurs with the findings of the Planning Commission in regards to the final development plan for the senior living facility. I motion to adjourn council. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Biassiata.
Yes.
Greenwald.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Stager.
Yes.
Robo.
Yes.
Council's adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
You know, I'm surprised. There'd be a possibility of independence being
Mr. Mason or Mr. Mason?
Oh, I didn't know.
What time you want me over? How about 7? Is that too late? Right. 7 p.m. tomorrow? Your house?
Well, probably when it was here.
Okay, I'll call this. I didn't want to promise to be here at 6. Bring you up again. 6 would be better? I'm gonna do everything I can to make 6, so just plan on 6. Plan on 6, and if I'm late, I'll call you. Fair? No, I want to get on this, keep the pressure on. I tried calling that out. If it's city-owned, why? Thank you, by the way, thank you. What do you want? All right. Great. We got a proposal